There are two perspectives on mental health. Furthermore, I believe that many people are unaware that they are caught in the first one. The consensus among most people is that sadness and anxiety are either a permanent part of who you are or you don't have them, and your only option is to acquire coping mechanisms. I no longer think that way about anxiety or sadness. I consider it to be a scale. When your symptoms are severe, they significantly disrupt your life. When they are minor or go away, they stop interfering with it. When we work at depression and anxiety disorders, they can be resolved. And it gives us agency to think about them in this way. It offers us the ability to alter our own life. According to current studies, we can have a significant impact on our mental health. For instance, nearly 75% of people report that regular aerobic exercise reduces their feelings of anxiety and despair. A healthy diet can reduce depression risk by as much as 35%. For 60 to 80% of people, thinking differently, such as through counseling, is helpful. According to a study, 87% of depressed individuals had a full resolution of their depressive symptoms after receiving treatment for insomnia. When it comes to treating anxiety and depression, therapy lights and meditation may be more beneficial than prescription drugs. The issue is that, when you're depressed or anxious to the point of drowning, all of these changes can feel extremely overpowering. And then, when we're truly driven to make a big difference in our lives, we frequently try some drastic changes. We decide to start a new diet, sign up for CrossFit classes at the gym at 5 in the morning, or plan to run a marathon. Furthermore, even while you can force yourself to make these adjustments for a short while, using willpower as a long-term tactic is rarely successful. Then, as the adjustments get more significant, they become more draining and daunting, which deters you from pursuing them. Instead of being easier, doing things gets harder and tougher. Therefore, even though you can force yourself to continue doing them for a time, the most likely result is that you will become tired and give up, leaving you even more demoralized than when you began. Thus, it is unusual that these drastic modifications be successful. That works occasionally, but it can't be your primary tactic. Now, I know that this can be daunting, but I love to offer individuals as many options as possible to enhance their mental health. This video will teach you how to create atomic habits for mental health by making little, daily adjustments that only take a few minutes. Alright, minor adjustments are preferable to major ones. The narrative of the British cycling squad is told by James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, a fantastic book, by the way. Among the poorest teams were them. Even with their plenty of resources, they were utterly defeated. However, they later hired a new coach. Furthermore, he didn't alter the team by instructing them to simply try harder, work harder, or train out for longer. All he did was search for small, gradual improvements that they could make 1% at a time. They therefore made little adjustments, such as painting the inside of their vans to keep their bikes cleaner, making improvements to their uniforms to make them more comfortable, and monitoring their sleep to get better sleep. They also moved from being among the worst teams to taking home the most gold medals from the 2008 Olympics and going on to win the Tour de France several times. Now, James Clear explains in Atomic Habits how just a 1% daily change can improve your life by 37 times at the end of the year. However, the majority of people don't succeed in changing since they attempt to make a significant improvement that lasts for a short while before they lose interest, because the change requires so much effort. Therefore, I do not want you to make a big, drastic adjustment all at once when trying to enhance your mental health. I strongly advise my clients against doing it. Selecting little behaviors that gradually improve your life rather than making it more difficult can increase your chances of making significant, long-lasting change. Thus, over time, these modifications avalanche when allowed to accumulate. Let's consider an example where you start taking vitamins in January and they provide you an extra 1% of energy per day. You can then channel that focus into making one minor adjustment in February. Perhaps you established a sensible boundary at work, such as refraining from responding to emails after 5 p.m. You also feel less overwhelmed as a result, which adds 1% to your vitality. Next, you incorporate a 10-minute walk into your schedule in March. Exercise helps you sleep better, which reduces your daily fatigue and provides you an extra % in April. All these small adjustments give you a little bit more energy, a little bit better health, and actually make life simpler rather than harder. And over time, these beneficial adjustments compound and can truly assist you in escaping your depressive slump. You have 5% change at this point in May, which is 72 minutes more energy than you had in January. You might also be able to make a few more minor adjustments with those extra 72 minutes of energy. Small adjustments have a far greater impact than that diet you abandoned at the start of February, which did more harm than good and left you feeling worse about yourself. Alright, I now offer a whole course on using little adjustments to enhance your mental well-being. Change Your Brain. 10 Essential Mind-Body Skills for Mental Health is the title of the book. And I cover how to make changes that are both incredibly powerful and enduring in that course in much more detail. The course is far more comprehensive. Nonetheless, I'll tell you about in this video. 30 suggestions for your initial 1% modification. However, while I compile this list, it is imperative that we discuss these 3 guiding concepts. Thus, start by grabbing the low-hanging fruit. Start with the adjustment that is easiest for you to implement or that you find most delightful. Therefore, incorporate exercise into your schedule initially if you enjoy it. Since light therapy is easier for you, you might start with it if you detest working out. Or plan some time with friends if you're a people lover. Maybe start with a diet adjustment if you find that being around people drains you. Starting with the smallest, most straightforward adjustments first will help you have more energy and enthusiasm to make larger improvements later on. And only make one modification at a time, working on it until it gets easier and easier to implement. Thus, I like a month to be the starting point. Alright. The second step is to design a system that gradually makes this new action easier rather than harder. As an illustration, taking your medication on a daily basis can help improve mental health. Purchasing a pill box to track when you've taken it or setting it up on your breakfast table to remind you to take it every day with breakfast are 2 simple ways to make this process easier. Things eliminates the need for you to ponder and recall things thanks to a system every day regarding it. Alright. Thirdly, I advise using a habit tracker and establishing a 30-day target for a small alteration you wish to make. And simply record each day you make this small adjustment with a check mark. Now, 1 joke a day was a practice of Jerry Seinfeld's. However, he kept track of it by hanging a large calendar and marking each day he wrote the joke with a large red check mark. Apply his technique now. That is fantastic. I discovered it once more through Atomic Habits. It's also a really good novel. Go through that book. You may also get my free habit builder by downloading it. Alternatively, I enjoy using the free habit app to monitor your improvement. Alright. Having said that, you are aware of the general notions behind this, so I'm only going to list a few minor adjustments that you may make to enhance your mental health. Light therapy, then. Very successful. Numerous studies indicate that it works just as well as antidepressant drugs. Thus, you may get a light box and use light therapy for 10 minutes each day while going through your daily ritual. If you are unable to accomplish that, you might simply sit outside in the sun for 10 minutes each day or open your curtains in the morning. Another is to think about taking a multivitamin or multi-mineral supplement. Thus, this supplement is a thoroughly thought-out choice. There isn't a sponsor. However, a large body of research supports it and indicates that it benefits certain people. Correct? You might try including a fermented meal in your diet or think about taking a probiotic supplement. Any type of exercise can be done outside. Include 1 veggie in your dish. For instance, get prepackaged veggies and keep them on your desk each day. Practice thankfulness every day. You may use an app, a notebook, or enlist the help of a buddy to help you create a system for this. Thank you for your time. Every day, tell your partner or your child something you find admirable about them. It will alter your perception of them, and it might even inspire them to do better. Alternatively, you might thank your manager, a cashier, or a wait staff member every day. Reducing the amount of news you watch and using that time to improve the world in place of viewing news is another tiny adjustment that can have a big impact. Another option is to just change the accounts you follow to ones that are upbeat, like Upworthy or Good News. Make your social network a happy environment by unfollowing any accounts that consistently spread negativity in your life. And it probably just takes a few minutes a day to set up an Instagram account to follow more inspirational individuals. Alright, enhancing your sleep quality is another item that can alter a lot with a small adjustment. Even though it can seem unattainable, there are several little things you can do that build up over time. For a week, you may attempt to wake up at the same time every morning. You may cut back on your caffeine intake. Your bed could only be used for resting. Alternatively, you might program your phone to go into automatic do not disturb mode at night. Such little things can build up over time. Being aware is incredibly helpful for mental health, but it can also feel overwhelming at times. Just give it a go to practice breathing more slowly and observing your breathing while driving. Alternatively, you might simply drive while not paying attention to anything and allow your mind to wander for a little while. Alternatively, you may meditate in the restroom. Correct? Hence, take a deep breath and calm down while using the restroom rather than gazing at your phone. Correct? Setting screen time restrictions or opting to read a book by your bed at night rather than use your phone are two more things you can do to enhance your mental health. Consider giving the brain dump exercise a go. You could meditate for 1 minute every day. Simply Google it. Numerous 1-minute meditations are available. You might try stretching or taking a stroll during your work breaks rather than staring at your phone. To motivate yourself to walk a little bit more each day, you could, set a daily goal for the number of steps you'll get. You could, practice self-regulation once a day. This includes actions like tapping, yawning, and deep breathing. Furthermore, these simply require a minute or two each day. Alright. Cortisol is reduced by nature. The stress reaction is lowered by nature. Therefore, you can make very small modifications, like acquiring a plant for your home, if you're one of those people who live in large cities or who can't spend much time outside. Nature photographs can be used as a background on your TV, screensaver, computer, or throughout your home. Alternatively, just follow social media users who take pictures of nature. Alright. One of the most important markers of happiness and health is connection and relationships. Therefore, one option would be to focus on strengthening the bonds you already have. These little deeds have a cumulative effect over time. Consequently, you could text someone. You may schedule a lunch meeting. One way to find out how someone is doing is to give them a call. You may set a reminder to give a loved one a call. These are a few simple methods you could use to strengthen your connections. Alright, you have a couple more options, I guess. This is what I refer to as making little rules for yourself. Your mental health will improve if you establish these guidelines and make little progress toward them over the course of a month. Thus, one of them is establishing a rule such as, I am not permitted to refer to myself by name. I can't use terms like never or always. Thus, you substitute gray thinking for black and white thinking. When you catch yourself using language that is catastrophizing, you replace it with something brave or adopt a growth mentality. Therefore, you say not yet in place of, as in, I haven't figured out how to do math yet, or I haven't figured out how to be a good listener yet, rather than, Alright? Thus, I hope, again, don't do all of them. These are just a few little instances. You should only choose one to focus on. However, I hope that this list provides you with a wealth of ideas to enhance your mental well-being. Once more, don't try to complete each one. Instead, start with the easiest to complete and work on it until it seems doable, at which point move on to the next one. I hope this video was useful to you. Let's develop our ability to feel. I appreciate you viewing, and be careful.